Go. Right. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for inviting me along, and especially a big thanks to you guys for joining on a Tuesday afternoon. It's a wet Tuesday afternoon down in my part of the world. I don't know what it's like up with you. So my name is Meredydd Jones. You may have picked up that I'm from Wales. I'm part of the Adobe for Education UK team. So I just joined Adobe back in January. Before then, I spent 17 years as a teacher in a secondary school here in South Wales. And before then, I spent about 4 years as a music peripatetic teacher as well. So I kind of started my career off working with the whole range from primary up to the top of secondary. And then I moved over to secondary, where I started off as a music teacher in the classroom. And then nobody wanted to take responsibility for IT in our school, and I was, quite into it. So I started teaching bits of IT as well as music, and then finally got kind of kicked over to be just doing that full time. And fast forward, like I said, 17 years, and here I am starting a new job. So I really appreciate you taking the time to join me this afternoon, because I've been there. I've done these 4 p.m. courses, and it's a commitment for you to do that after school. So thanks a lot for coming along to see what Adobe Express can offer you and your students. I've posted in the chat some links and my email address as well. So if there are any questions that pop up after this session, you want to get in touch, feel free to send me an email. And then I'll talk about the things that are in those links, the first hyperlink that I popped in there as we get along to it. Right, okay, so you guys in Renfrewshire, you've got Express for Education switched on now. And as Ross said, if any of you have any issues with seeing the app, getting to the app, then get in touch with Pam and Ross and the team there to get those wrinkles ironed out. So you should be logging in, and you should be seeing the Adobe Express icon. And when you click on the Adobe Express icon, it brings you to this homepage. Just worth mentioning as well that Express also has an iPad app. So if you want to run this on iPads, then the app is free to install, and the interface looks pretty identical to what you're seeing on my browser window tonight. So just to kick it off, could you just tell me in the chat what subject area you teach? So in the chat, what subject area you teach, and if you specialize in certain year groups, that would be handy as well. So thanks there. We're straight in there. We've got design technology, modern languages, French and Spanish. Yes, bonjour. And that's it. That's all you're getting out of me. We got school leadership and design technology all years, art design, ICT business admin. There we go. So we got SFL. I'm not sure what that is. S1 to S6. So you're teaching the whole age range. Background technical teaching, and then technical, graphcom, design, manufacturing. Yeah, okay, brilliant. So a huge range there. So I'm just going to show you what you can do with Express super quick, and hopefully, looking at it from my point of view, support for learning. Thanks for that. Thank you. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Sorry. Hopefully, my perspective as a secondary teacher for a long time will help you there, and my experiences of using Express in the classroom. So in Wales, we've got Hub, which is really similar to your Glow up in Scotland, which is a single sign-on. Every school in Wales got the same access. They sign in, they got access to a suite of tools, and one of them is Express. And Express was really popular across, and is really popular across secondary schools in Wales. Okay, right. Here on the Adobe Express homepage, we've got you've got these tiles, okay, and they immediately signpost you to some things that you can do straight away, especially these 4 on the right hand side. So any video editing task, we've got a really nice, easy to use video editor built into Express. Any kind of graphic design, so infographics, pamphlets, leaflets, posters, all of that stuff. the graphic editor is there for you. We've also got a web page builder. So if you're working on things like blogs, digital portfolios, if you want your learners to collect everything they've done across an unit to work together and displayed in a really nice way, that's a really great way of doing that. And then we've got some really fun creative stuff in there as well. Just thinking of, we've got somebody joining us from MFL. The animate from audio, the blue tile there is a big hit with MFL and a lot of fun. Also, art and design, we'll have a quick look at the drawing editor, which is by far and away the best drawing experience, digital drawing experience you'll have on a browser. Okay, and we'll have a look at that as well. It's really important to just mention again that this is all in the browser. So your learners will be able to work on Express in school, and then if they go back home, as long as they've got a browser like Google Chrome or Edge or something like that, where they can log into Glow, they'll have access to exactly the same tool suite. And the school I taught in was in the Gwyndraeth Valley, which is one of the most deprived areas in South Wales. And that power of being able to let them continue with their work at home without having to download software or install apps, that was such a stumbling block. So just opening the door to that made a huge difference to us at my school. Okay, right. We'll start with the simplest tool that we've got, and that's creating a graphic. So you can see the big green tile there. Before I do that, I always forget to mention as well, there are loads of tools under the blue plus in the top left. There are a load of tools in here which are really handy for teachers, okay, and school staff. So you can see under quick actions, there's a lot of stuff in here, like QR codes. If you want to QR code anything, maybe up to now you've been using random QR code generating websites, which you've got to wade through the spam and the ads to create a QR code, and then who knows what that QR code will be linking to in 6 months' time. Maybe it won't be that original link; it'll be something else. So if you generate QR codes for anything, then doing it within Express, it's got a really nice, easy pop-up interface. Paste your link in, download your QR code. Couldn't be easier to anything. Also, a huge one with teachers is edit PDF. Oh, it just disappeared there when I zoomed in. Edit PDF. So if you've got any worksheets or anything at all that's a PDF and you'd like to be able to edit it, because we do want to change stuff, you can drag your PDFs into Express and edit them on the app. There's a load of other things in here, like you make GIFs, you can combine PDFs. If you've got 3 or 4 PDFs you want to make into one, just drag them all into the window there. If you want to do quick stuff like trim a video, or if you want to caption a video, if you want to show a video to your class and you want it to be more accessible, you'd like subtitles to be there, Express will automatically caption that video for you. Again, you just drag your video clip in. Express will use AI, it'll listen to it, it'll caption it. You can easily correct any typos or any misinterpreted words, and then export that back out as a caption video. So there's loads of tools in there under the blue plus icon in the top left that are really handy for all school staff. Okay, right. So let's jump into an example of creating a graphic. So I'm going to click on the big green tile in the top right-hand corner, and this opens up the all-in-one editor. Now, when you look at this, if I just close the template panel down, the interface is nice and easy to use. Okay, even if you've never used Express before, none of these buttons should look too scary. Okay, everything here kind of speaks for itself. And in this example, we're just going to be looking at these 3 buttons on the left-hand toolbar: media, text, and elements. Okay, just those 3. And the reason I'm going to stick to those in this first activity is that you could do this with your learners. You don't need to feel like you're an expert on this whole app before you start bringing it into class. You could just learn how to use media, text, and elements and create wonderful graphics and teach your kids the same skills. Right. So in this example, we have been learning about World Ocean Day, and my learners have been collecting facts about a marine animal of their choice. So in this example, a learner has been collecting facts on the great white shark. So a really nice way to tie together learning at the end of a unit of work is to create an infographic. So I'm going to take this information that I found and just turn it into an infographic. So here we go. Now then, I'm sure we've all sat through lessons where we send our learners out to find images, and we send them maybe to Google Images or other search engines. And there are two things that kind of spoil those activities. The first thing that can spoil those activities is that sometimes the stuff they find on Google Images isn't very good. Okay, that's the first thing. Sometimes our learners will copy and paste some images over, and once they start resizing them and zooming in on it a bit, we realize that that's just a really bad photo or image. It's really pixelated, the resolution is really low, and there's nothing you can do to fix that. And that piece of work will never really look great because of the original source image. We've also obviously got copyright issues that we want to teach our young people about before we send them out into the big bad world to commit copyright theft. So we want to kind of show them good practice. And then the third thing is, of course, is that, we don't know if they're going to come across some inappropriate stuff. I've I've certainly got some horror stories of things like that. We're always tense about that. So within Express, you've got access to the entire Adobe stock library. So that's tens and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of images, video clips, and background music. And you can see them here by going into media. Okay, if you're going into media, at the top, we've got photos, tens of thousands, well, I think it's hundreds of thousands of photos, tens of thousands of video clips, and then thousands of different background music, sound effects, etc. They're all filtered for educational use. So, whatever results you get there should be safe for use in class. They're all obviously cleared for use in terms of licensing. And they're also, I think the most important thing, they're all high quality and they're going to look good. Okay. So if I'm going to be creating a graphic on the great white shark, let's go into photos. Okay, there's no point me searching for a video here because I'm making a kind of a poster. So I'm going to print this out. So I'm searching under photos, and I'll just search in here for shark. Okay, and there we go. I got 189 results there for shark, which is, plenty. It's not as much as you'd get on Google Images, of course, but they're all going to be high quality and they're all licensed for use. Okay, so I like this image of a shark. This looks, suitably menacing. Now, I'd like to remove this background because I want to have my own kind of ocean background to this design. So on Express, with any image at all that you bring in, whether you've uploaded an image that you got, a photo that you got yourself, if it's something you've created yourself within Express using AI, because we got that built in as well, you can remove the background. You've got this friendly looking dog here who'll chomp away at the background. And, if you look at this image of this shark, this is a tough one, right? Because, the color of the fin there isn't that much different from the color of the sea behind it. So this is a test for Express to get rid of this. So I just click on remove background and it takes a few seconds and bam, there it is. It's done. Okay. So that's a really easy way to remove a background. You can also, if I wasn't happy with that, I'd be able to use the erase button to kind of tweak it as well if you want to. Right, that's great. So let's find a background now because this is just a white page. So I could just set a background color, and you can see at the top ribbon, I've got background color in there. I could just grab a color in there and apply it, but I'd rather find something a little bit more creative. So if you're going to search for backgrounds, you could search again in photos, but you'll usually find more suitable images for backgrounds if you go into the elements, okay? Now, if you remember, I said I'm only going to be showing you media, text, and elements. We've already had a look at media, so let's jump down into elements here. Now, when you open up the elements, up at the top, you've got some options again. You've got design assets, which are kind of stickers. These are really fun, which already have their backgrounds removed. We'll have a look at those later on. Backgrounds, you've guessed it, we're going to be looking at right now for backgrounds, but you've also got shapes. This is where you find your standard shapes like circles, rectangles, stars, callouts, bubbles, all that type of stuff. Icons, think of these as clip art where you can actually choose the color. You notice that they're all black and white. So whatever's showing here in black, you can assign a color to that when you bring them in. We've also got charts built in. Now that could be really handy to you as well if you're working with numbers and data. So we've got bar charts, pie charts, and then some crazy ones as well down here. All right, so let's go to backgrounds. And I'm just going to search for ocean. You could even just search for blue. You can keep it vague. And again, we've got 298 results there for ocean. Scroll down, you can see that they are lovely. They're wonderful looking. These are all fab. I could pick any one of these, to be honest. So, being the indecisive so-and-so that I am, I'm now going to linger over this decision a little bit too long before I scroll back to the top and choose probably the first one that I liked, which is that one. There we go. Right. So we've got a photo in. We've removed the background. I've found and set a really nice background. You can see because of the background, it's immediately just filling the whole canvas. You don't have to faff around with resizing it to fill the page or anything like that. And you can just quickly click on different backgrounds as well, you see, and just kind of see them immediately on your design, which is really nice. You don't have to delete the first one to add the new one. And I'm still going to go back to that one that I liked, which is this one. Right, okay. So we've looked at media, we looked at elements, so let's jump in now to text. So that's our final button on the left-hand side here that we're going to look at. Okay, so if I click on text, then we've got options of using these cool text presets. There's loads of these, hundreds of them, which, you know, you can just add in and change the text for whatever you want it to look like, to say. Or I always tend to go for just adding a brand new text box by clicking on the big blue button at the top, add your text. So if I click on that, it adds a text box. Now, once it's done that, look at the left-hand panel now. It's really familiar looking, intuitive font formatting, text formatting options. We've all seen this thing that I've got here 100 times, yeah? This is a font drop-down. This then will give me options within that font. I got bold, italic, underline. I can cycle between center, right, and left align. And then I can do bullet points, and I can do numbering or go back to nothing. In this button here, we've got letter spacing and line spacing. And that's it. Okay, right. So this is the great white shark. So I'm going to go I'm going to type in here the great white shark. See a lot of these here in Carmarthenshire. Right, now then, if you want to resize your text, you can obviously use the font size on the left-hand side here, or you can just use the corner handles. So the corner handle of this box is going to resize my text box and resize the font as I do it. If you'd actually rather kind of push the text around and change, say that I want the white to go down to the next line, I could force that by using the return button, okay, as you know. But you can also use these long side handles, you see, to just change the shape of your text box. So that helps you if you want to kind of stack text up on top of each other, if you want it all on one line, and so on. Okay, right, so there we go. I've got my kind of text laid out how I want it to be. Now then, that font is doing absolutely nothing for me. So I could have a look in the font picker that I just told you, the drop down that we've all seen in every app we've ever used in our lives. But here's the first bit of AI we're going to use today. In Express, we've got recommended fonts. So what Express does, it looks at the images, the colors, and the words that you've used so far in your design, and it'll try and work out what kind of fonts would work best with that collection of things. And you can see here that, you know, some of these will jump out at you as kind of better than others for a great white shark graphic. I like this one. This is cool. Right. So there's my title. Now, just resize that. There we go, like this. Now, I'd rather this text be white, I think, because I'm losing it a bit in this dark navy blue up in the top left. So to change the color of text, we've just got the fill button down here on the left-hand side. Okay, so again, nice and intuitive, easy to use. Set the color to white. Great. Maybe if I want to add an outline to this text, I can drag up the outline thickness. You see, and it'll just pick a random color for me to start off with, this gray. I tell you what I'd like is for this outline to be the same navy blue as this color here, so that the kind of text kind of melts into this top shape. So how do I do that? It's really easy. I pick my outline color down here on the left-hand side. And rather than dropping down the more colors and picking from the color palette, what I want to do is grab the eyedropper tool here. Oops. Doing too many things. Click on the eyedropper tool and you can see now that I've got this, this kind of circle hovering over my design. And what I can do is just pick that color and it'll set the outline of that text to exactly the same color as whatever I just selected with the eyedropper. Cool, and that's just starting to tie my design together a bit. Okay, right, how many facts have I collected about the great white shark? Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 facts right then. How can I display these in a nice creative way? Let's jump back into elements. So if I go to elements, and if I put it on all at the top, and let's just search for bubble in there. So I've obviously, if I scroll down, I've got, well, the shapes are going to give me these. These are speech bubbles. So there we go. I was expecting that, but I was thinking more of, you know, what bubbles, air bubbles in water. Icons is actually showing me some kind of watery bubbles here. So I could use one of those. But the design assets are really interesting. So the design assets, as you can see, sometimes they're more kind of photorealistic or they look more like cartoon graphics, that kind of thing. And what I really like about the design assets is that a lot of them have got quite complex transparency built in. So if I add this bubble, for example, zoom in on it. Now you can see that I can actually kind of see through that bubble. Okay, now if I'd have just found a photo of a bubble and removed the background, it would just cut it out in a circle shape, but I wouldn't actually be able to see through it like you do with a real bubble. So that's why you'd maybe come over to the design assets and find some images rather than going into the photos, because these are designed to be added on in layers onto your design. Okay, so I love that bubble, it's great. So I'm just going to duplicate this now for my 6 facts. So I've got 1, I need another 5. So to duplicate anything, I just click on the 3 dots, duplicate. Okay, there we go. You could use Control D as well, which is the keyboard shortcut. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got a bit of spare space. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of resize a few of them to make them a bit bigger. Push them around a bit. I like having them overlapping as well. I like a bit of chaos reigns. There we go. This is fun. I'm having fun. Right. I'd like this bubble to be behind the shark, not hiding its snout. So this is a great time to draw your attention to the right-hand side of your screen where you've got your layer stack. Okay, now in the layer stack, I can grab that bubble and drag it down underneath the shark, and there we go. That's pushed it behind. You can also use right-click, send backwards, bring to front, the stuff you'd usually be doing. But in my experience, learners really like using the layer stack on the right-hand side. Again, it's really intuitive. Okay, let's just start bringing in the facts that I've collected then about the great white shark. For that, I'm going to add a new text box. Add your text. Here we go. And let's just copy my first fact. So the status of the great white shark is vulnerable. So paste that in. And I'm going to have a quick mess around with fonts. Now, I like this font that I had here, And what's great in Express is that when you drop down your font picker, the first thing it'll do is tell you which fonts. I need to zoom back out. It'll tell you which fonts you've got in use. You see, these are the fonts in use. So there's the font that I used for my titles. Let's just grab that. Brilliant. Now then, does it have a lighter version of this font? No, it doesn't. I'm still quite happy with it, though. That's fine. Right, let's bring that down in size. Pop it into the middle of the bubble. I think I need a colon there. Now then, let's change the color of that status. So again, I'm using the same skills again, just using the color picker. And then I think I'm going to need an outline around this. And that outline needs to be white. Yeah, there we go. That's looking great. Now that I've got that sorted, that's all I need to do now is, let's move this to here, is again, duplicate this text box. So here I go, duplicate, or you could use Control D again. And of course, by doing this, I'm saving myself the labor of changing the color and the font and the outline in each one of these as we go through. And now that's all I need to do is grab my information from here and copy and paste it over. This might be a really good chance if you've got any questions about what I've shown you so far. Where am I? Here it is. If you've got any questions at all about what I've shown you so far, or any comments, or anything that you're not quite sure how it would work in your setting, then please pop it in the chat, or you're welcome to unmute and shout at me. That's fine. I'm used to it. So any comments at all, or if you've got ideas about how you could use this term in the unit that you're working on at the moment with one of your groups, I'd be really interested to see kind of examples. Hopefully, you know, you're looking at this thinking, oh, I could do this with S1 next week because we're doing XYZ. So if you've got any ideas like that about how you could use Express to create an infographic like this, please pop it in the chat so that we can kind of share ideas. That would be fantastic. Whilst you're scrambling and knocking your tea over because I've just asked you to do something, I'll just carry on copying and pasting my info over just to finish this off. So any questions or any ideas, that would be even better. Any ideas of how you could use this this term with your learners, that would be brilliant. Do you have an Adobe Express versus Canva pros and cons infographic? No, I don't. I don't have one of those. I used Canva back years ago when it first came out. I think it was before Express actually existed. But basically, here's my take on this. Now, I obviously work for Adobe, okay? So you can take what I say with a pinch of salt if you want to, but I will be totally honest with you as well as a teacher because, you know, I was one for a long time and I was still one not that long ago. Canva does some things better than Express, and Express does some things better than Canva. I don't think there's an obvious, no, you should just use this rather than this. So I don't think there's some kind of obvious winner between them. They are two really similar apps. I mean, at the end of the day, they're both creative online tools that you can use in the browser. They're both free for all schools. Now, when I was working in school, if I was given centrally from Welsh Government, or in your case, from Scottish Government, if I was given access to Canva, I would have gone all in on Canva and used that. But I was given access to Adobe Express, so I went all in on Adobe Express. And that's how I've always worked. I've always kind of looked at, right, access is key, all right? Because we want our learners to not just use this because we've dragged them through it in class. We want them to get into the habit of enjoying to mess around with this stuff in their own time. So access is king. Access is more important than features, in my opinion. Not everybody will agree with that, perhaps, but in my opinion, I would always prefer to use Word Online or Google Docs with my learners rather than the Microsoft Word app installed. This is just an example, because not all of them had access to Word installed on their machines at home, but they could all access, we were a Google school, so they could all access Google Docs. So I know that Google Doc can't do everything that the Word app can, but it can do pretty much most of it, and access is way easier. So personally, I've always felt that in education that access comes first, and we only go looking for other apps if we find something that we really can't do that I need to be able to do. So I don't have a pros and cons in Canva. But what I'll say is that in the years I've been using Express, there's nothing that I've kind of gone, oh, snap, I really wish I had Canva now because I know it can do X. You know, there isn't something that is a deal breaker for me. So there we go. What have we got in here? I could be wrong, but I think background removal in Canva might be a premium feature. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. This is my next question, Ross. I know that some features are behind the paywall of Canva. Quite a lot of them. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not preaching at anyone, but it makes no sense at all to me to be going searching for an alternative to something that's being kind of provided for you centrally. But you know, you do you guys, right? Okay, so there we go. There's my infographic. Now you may notice that, and you may have noticed that I haven't actually saved this at any point so far. Okay, which some of you might think is a bit cavalier of me, but fear not, friends, because Adobe Express saves everything you do all of the time. So even though I didn't save this at the beginning, I didn't even name it, it's been saving everything that I've been doing all along. So if my machine crashes or the internet goes down or my Chromebook battery runs out or whatever, I don't lose anything, okay? So if for whatever reason your learners have a problem, they have to restart the machine or refresh the browser or whatever, we've seen this, it happens every time, every day, you know, umpteen times a day, you won't lose anything, okay? Even like I've done here with an unnamed project. It just saves everything you do as an untitled project, and then if you, when you're feeling organized, want to name it, we can just rename that project. But it's been saving everything I've been doing all along. So this is a GW Shark infographic. Yeah. GW Shark sounds like a long-bearded cricket player from the 1800s, isn't it? Right. Oh, we've got some more here. Further on to my question, Meredith, it's starting to look to me like Express has some of the features of Illustrator, Photoshop, but in a more user-friendly way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, you know, if you do a lot, it says powered by for a lot of these. So if you go into remove background, it actually is powered by that tool set within Photoshop. That's exactly the idea with this, is that it is powered by the Pro apps. You can also open up Pro apps projects in Express. So if you've got a Photoshop file, you can just open it up in here and see all the layers, work with all the layers. So yeah, that's right. Okay, and then another question. The brand button looks interesting. Do you have time to tell us about that? Yeah, definitely. I got time. I'm here for you guys. So if you want to take me on another journey that I had planned, then that's absolutely fine. Yeah, the brand is interesting, especially maybe more from your point of view as members of staff rather than maybe with your learners. But so basically with brands, you can build up a brand kit. Let me just jump out into the desktop here. Okay, so you can see I've got brands on the left-hand toolbar here on the home page. So have I got one set up in this demo account? I don't. Right, brilliant. So you can create brands. So when you create a brand, you name it, you can upload your logos. So when I was in school, my school Express account, I had a brand set up for our school because I did a lot of the kind of social media posts and designed a lot of that kind of stuff for the school. But I also had a kind of brand for the IT department because we had our own kind of, I liked using certain fonts and I had my own little logo for things. So you can set up as many brands as you want. And when you do that, you upload your logos, as many as you want. You can choose a color scheme, and Express can even kind of grab a color scheme, create a color palette from your logos, which is really nice. And then you can also choose which fonts you like to use. You can choose a set of fonts. And then when you're working on a document, you can apply your brand. And what that'll do is it'll change the colors of text and elements and shapes and icons into the colors of your color scheme. You can quickly click on the fonts that you've got, and you can quickly add your brand logos in. So yeah, if you're responsible at all for any kind of social media marketing or anything like that for your school, setting up a kind of school brand in your account, and you can share brands as well. Once you've done that, you can share it with other members of staff. That's a really powerful way of having consistent messaging and design on your school social channels, etc. Also, it's with older learners, with my sixth form students, so that kind of equates to your S6. So I'm talking 16, 17-year-olds. I was doing a unit on there with them about social media marketing, and this was just part of the whole thing we do. We'd create a logo, and then for a company, and then we'd bring the logo into brands. We'd choose color schemes, think about fonts, think about how fonts make people feel, and then we'd go on a kind of social media campaign. Then right, let's create a social media advert. Let's make a video. Let's make an Instagram post. And they love, young people love doing all that, and I really feel that is preparing people for the world of work, because I don't think it matters what field of work you go into. You can sit in nearly any job interview and say, oh yeah, I'm really good at kind of creating branded social media posts. I'm really good at kind of laying things out in a nice, consistent way, and I can't think of an employer that wouldn't respond well to that. Yeah, so if you're interested in brands, definitely you can dig into that. And those example projects that I'm talking about, now's a really good time to talk about this. You can see those on Dom. So Dom is my colleague in Express. He's running the primary session that's on right now for Renfrewshire as well. So if I'm going to mention now the links page. Okay, so in the chat, I've put a link to, it's a bit.ly link, and it's just called bit.ly/express links. Okay, so it's bit.ly/express links. And I'll just talk you through what you'll find there now if you want to have a rummage around after today's session. So it brings you to here. So this is just a simple web page that we built in Adobe Express. And these are all just buttons, okay? So the first thing I'll mention is that we run live lessons. These would be perfect for your S1s, maybe S2s. If you've got lower ability S2s, S3s, it would be great. But I'd say it's kind of it's definitely for S1s. It's kind of that, 12-year-old-ish learners that want to make some cool stuff, really similar to that infographic I made on the shark. That kind of skill set. We run live lessons all the time. So if you follow that Express links link, it brings you to this page, and if you click on that first one, here's just up to our half term, which is the end of October. Okay, so we got Roald Dahl Day, end of this week. We've got Owain Glyndŵr, that's Welsh specific, but you're welcome to come along. Maths Week Scotland, we got a session in there. That's 24th of September. European Day of Languages, shout out to my MFL teacher there. We've got Black History Month, National Poetry Day, Mental Health Day, T.K. Jones Day, that's a Welsh one as well, Recycling Week, and then Halloween. Okay, so those are just the sessions up to Halloween. And the way those work is that your learners all log in on whatever devices you use in school, Chromebooks, iPads, whatever they are, and you put our live stream up on the whiteboard, put the speakers on, and then we'll take them through a really fun session. If it doesn't fit with when you're seeing that class, you can always catch up with the recording as well. Okay, you don't have to join live. And you just register for those, fill this form, pick the one you want, register, and it'll send you a link to the live stream. And if you can't catch it live, it'll send you a link to the recording. What else have we got here? That's what I was going on about, was our tutorials. So if we go into tutorials, there we go, we'll shout at you. And we've got playlists in here. And this Creative Club, here we go, Adobe Creative Club. So Key Stage 3 in Wales is your S1, 2, and 3. Okay, S1, S2, and S3 is Key Stage 3. So in that playlist, we've got the things like logo designs, creating different versions of logos, Instagram posts, video storyboarding, video editing basics. You know, there's loads of fun projects there, and these are designed for secondary learners. Okay, so if you're interested in that brands conversation and that and those features, have a dig around there. Right then, let's get back on track. So, okay, so we've had a look at an infographic, yeah? So let's have a look now at video editing, because this is one that I always used to do in class, and I love video editing. Like my background in university before going into music teaching was in video editing, and I always wanted to do more of it, but there's definitely some things that stumbling blocks along the way. One was that when I was teaching before Express came along, there wasn't really a good online video editor. So you had to download and install apps, which, you know, immediately is a problem, especially if you want kids to continue their work outside of class. And then the second one, the biggest one, is trying to find good video clips for learners to use to edit with. Okay, you can film your own stuff, but that is definitely time consuming, right? You can use free video search engine websites, but wow, there's some inappropriate stuff that comes up on those, and that is a minefield. So this feature in Express is amazing. Okay, so if I click on make a video, you're going to notice that this looks very familiar, and that's because this is the same editor as we just used to make that infographic. So if you teach your kids how to make a poster, an infographic first of all, and then you want to move on to video editing, you don't have to teach them a new app. They've already got the skills. The only thing that's different, you've probably spotted it, is that there's a timeline at the bottom. Otherwise, everything here is identical. It's the same buttons. Okay, right. So say that I want to make a video about explain a video about planet Earth. Okay, we've been learning about the solar system. I want to make an explainer video about planet Earth. So let's just grab, click on media again on the left-hand side. Remember, we just looked at media, text, and elements. So go to media, and I'm going to search this time. Instead of searching photos like I did with the shark, I'm going to click on videos, and let's just search for Earth. Maybe I'll need planet in there. Is it going to give me mud? No, here we go. I got 1,113 results. And remember now, these aren't photos. These are all video clips. That is amazing. If any of you have ever sent your kids to websites to find video clips, to download, and then import into a video editor before, you know the pain that I'm talking about. Okay? So the fact that I can search for high quality video clips within Express is, and I'm not lying or overstating, that is a game changer. Okay, so I love this one here. If I click on it, it's going to add it in, and there it is. Okay, I can see it on the timeline at the bottom. I can scrub forward. Oh, wow, that's immense. I love that. Right, and click play, and it'll play it for me. Amazing. Right, what else can I do here? Well, I could add a voiceover. Okay, that's definitely something you'd want to do here. So, to add a voiceover, remember we looked in media, and we've got photos. We've been in photos, videos. We've just been in videos, and now I can go to audio, and here I could search for maybe something like dramatic, or epic, cinematic, or sci-fi maybe. Sci-fi. Here we go, and you can scroll through. You got look at all these results things, and if you wanna kind of preview any of these, you can just click on the play button like this. That's pretty perfect, I think. On this one, oh, I love that. Yeah. So I hope you can hear it. If not, it was playing the music, right? So if I click on that, it's going to add it. You can see it's just added that now to my timeline. So those of you that have done video editing and you want to teach your learners about clips, you can hear it. Awesome. Thanks, Ross. I don't trust Teams. You may have picked up on this. it's a really nice way for them to start learning about how video editing works and how they can build up a timeline. Right, so let's record a voiceover for this first slide. Okay, so again, I'm going to go into audio here, and you can see I've got this grey button here that says record voiceover. So I'm ready to record. Tell you what, I'll choose my USB mic because it'll sound better. I'm going to start recording. Count me down, 3, 2, 1. Hello, my name is Meredith Jones, and welcome to this video on planet Earth. I finished recording, and there we go. I've got my voiceover clip there now as a separate clip on my timeline. Okay. Now we can see that this scene is quite a bit longer than it needs to be, right? My voiceover finishes there, so I don't need this end bit. So again, really easy to use. I can just grab this end of the clip, drag it back, and now I've kind of trimmed that clip back to fit my voiceover. I think text would really help here. So let's add in some text. Now this is the same skill set as we looked at when we were making our Great White Shark video. So there's nothing new here. So because there's nothing new, I'll show you some things that didn't last time. Text layouts is fun. So you could do circle text, arch text, bow text. So I could curve it around the earth if I wanted. But I really like this dynamic text, because what that does is that it forces, if you've got text on multiple lines, it forces the font size to be the same. So you can see there that Earth, not the font size to be the same, sorry, the width of the font to be the same. So you can see there that Earth is just as wide as planet, and it makes it really interesting. Right, let's change the color so we can see it to start off with. Right, now then, let's just shift that over there. Let's find a nice kind of sci-fi font that I like. I like you. Yep. Cool. That is definitely the kind of font that I wanted there. Looks perfect. Right. Now then, rather than have this being white, let's use some AI, guys. Let's create our own custom font here right now. So if I scroll down on the text panel, you can see it says generate text effects. So in here, I can describe whatever I want this to look like. Okay. So maybe I want this to look like riveted metal with what? With what? I want kind of that. I want the Cyrillic. Oh, can I spell that? Can I spell? I'll try it. Cyrillic. C-I or C-Y. Cyrillic. Is it that way around? Or is it the other way around? It's the other way around. Cyrillic. It just looks wrong every way I spell it. My first language is Welsh, so you'll just have to forgive me for that. Anyway, Cyrillic stamps, stencils. I want that kind of space race vibe going on. Right, cool. So, and I'm also trying to be specific so that you can see how detailed you can go with this. So it's now going to actually create a custom font based on what I just searched for. And hopefully it's even going to, it's just ignored my bad spelling. But there we are, cool. So I've got this riveted metal. That looks amazing. I love it. Okay, and you've got 4 results. You can generate more there. You can type in words that are spelled correctly up at the top as well. But look at that. I love that. That's amazing. But, it's still just text. So if I want to add an outline, I can, which I will, because I think it's going to help. It's going to help. Yeah, it's going to help that text to stand off. Right. Now, because this is a video project, my text doesn't need to just be plonked there either. My text can move. So you can animate anything in a project. Okay. Images, text, video clips even. So if I want my text to kind of, what do I want it to do? I want it to rise up. Yes, dramatic. Nice. Then what do I want it to do whilst this scene's going on? So I go into the loop menu here. Maybe I want it to blink. Yes. And then do I want it to do something at the end of the scene? No, maybe I don't. I don't want my text to fly out. I want it to be there all the way to the end of the scene. So now let's just play this first scene back. Hello, my name is Meredith Jones and welcome to this video on Planet Earth. Awesome. I think my music is a bit too loud, so I'm going to just click on the music clip in my timeline, just drop the volume down a bit like that. Right, so you can see how really quickly I started building that up. Now then, what's my first fact going to be about planet Earth? Well, my first fact is that the length of a day on planet Earth is 23.9 hours. Right, so let's add a scene. Nice. Right, let's just get a space background this time because I'm going to show you something really cool now. So I'm going to go into media and videos and I'm just going to search for space. All right, now then, let's just find one that's going to make a nice background for me. This one, cool. Right, there we go. Right, rather than a voiceover this time, let's put an animated character that's speaking with my voice into that scene right now. And you're all sitting there and you're saying, no, it can't be done. Impossible. Well, you naysayers, I'm about to prove you wrong. So under the media button on the left-hand side, under the videos tab, you see this button that says animate characters. This is probably my favorite thing in Express, okay? Now we've got, if I go to all, about 250 different characters that you can choose from. All right, and I want, there is an astronaut here. So you can go into people, let's go to people. There we go. So if I go to people, it filters out the kind of creatures and animals and that kind of thing. And where is my, there we go. And I'm going to grab Fred. Here he is. Brilliant. Right, Fred's there. Now, Fred's, it's zoomed in on Fred. So I'm going to just change the size. There we go. Because I want to see all of Fred. I want to see his head to his toes. Brilliant. Now then, I don't want a background because I've already got that space background, remember, that I chose. So I don't, you could just add a background here if you wanted. Okay, but I just want the background to be transparent. Size is fine. I mean, my project is landscape here, but it doesn't really matter. That's all I want to make sure is that I'm not chopping any bit of Fred off. So this is fine. Okay, now then, I'm going to record my speech here, where I'm just going to say, not that, that's a great white shark, this one, where I'm just going to say the length of a day on planet Earth is 23.9 hours. Now, you see this button at the bottom, enhance speech, that again uses AI to recognize the voice that's closest to the device, and it'll get rid of all the other background noise. So when I used to do stuff like this in school, before we had Adobe Express, I'd have to shush the whole class to have one kid speak at a time, and they'd be really embarrassed about it because they didn't want everybody else hearing them. Or I'd have to kind of send them out to the class to do it in the corridor to get a bit quiet, but then I'd have other teachers complaining, and then some of my children would run away, and I'd have to do some paperwork. So now, with that enhanced speech toggle, you switch that on, and it'll get rid of all the background noise. So you can actually just get all your learners to record their voiceovers in the same room at the same time. It's amazing. Right, so I'm in a very quiet room in my house, so I don't need that right now. So I'm going to click record. It's going to count me down from 3 again. 3. The length of a day on planet Earth is 23.9 hours. Click done. Okay, so what's happening right now? Well, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to listen to my voice. It's going to analyze my voice and work out the visemes, the mouth shapes that Fred needs to lip sync to my voice. So if I say any kind of ooh sound, then Fred's mouth is going to make an ooh shape. So it's going to do that. It's going to do the lip sync first, but then it's going to use AI in a different way where it's going to listen to the inflections of my voice. So if I sound angry, Fred will make some angry arm movements. If I ask a question, maybe Fred will raise his arms up. Maybe we'll have some eyebrows going on. Maybe the eyes will do something. Once it's done, and you just saw that, how fast that happens in real time there, it's going to drop that animated character, that video clip, onto your scene. Okay, let's have a listen to this. The length of a day on planet Earth is 23.9 hours. Now that's amazing, right? I love that. Now notice that Fred disappears at the end of that because that video clip background is actually longer than my animated character. Pop in the chat what you think of animate characters and how you think you could use that, and if you think it's useful. So that's all I need to do is, just before Fred disappears, I just need to trim my scene back again. There we go, and I'm done. Okay, now Fred looks as if he's standing still there, which doesn't look very realistic, does it? But remember how I animated my text? Well, I can animate this video clip, this entire video clip, in exactly the same way. So I can go to animation, and maybe Fred's going to bungee down from the top of the screen. You can change how fast that happens if you want. So you can make it happen slower. And you can bring down the bounces. There we go, like that. And maybe I want Fred to bob around. Yes. Aha. As he's speaking, that's perfect. In the weightlessness of space. Now, I could probably do with some text as well, couldn't I? Saying just 23.9 hours. So let's just go back to my first scene. Copy this. Copy. Back to my second scene. Paste. There it is. Now, the fact that I've got this amazing kind of custom font doesn't mean that I can't change this 23.9 hours. It's still a text box, okay? So look at that, and it's putting that amazing custom font that I created onto that text now. It looks absolutely fantastic. Right, there we go. Let's try this scene.
The length of a day on planet Earth is 23.9 hours.
Now, I know that I do like bringing a lot of silliness into stuff, but a serious point here is that across my time as a teacher, but especially since COVID, you get more and more learners that are unwilling to be on camera. You get more and more learners that really don't want to be filmed. And then you've still got the learners that really love that. Yeah, you've still got those learners that love being in front of camera. And there seems to be the divide between the kids that want to, are willing to, and are unwilling to, seems to be getting bigger. Back when I started teaching, 20 years ago, there'd only be a few that were unwilling to do something in front of camera. But this is an amazing way of getting those kids to see themselves and to hear their voices and to see themselves really speaking on screen without actually having to be in front of a camera. And I've had loads of success in using this and seeing schools using this with kids that usually wouldn't be willing. Especially the fact that this can be done in a browser and they can do it at home. They don't have to record this in class. So you could set the animated character bit as homework, as optional homework. You can either record a voiceover or you can animate your character, or you could upload a video of yourself giving one of these facts. And you know what, guys? Remember that remove background tool that we used to get rid of the background on the great white shark? That works with video clips too, and you don't need to use a green screen. It's amazing. Okay, so you could get your kids to, you could record your kids or get them to film themselves against whatever background you want. And that one button remove background will do an amazing job of cutting it out with no green screens. So leave the green screen in the broken, dusty heap that it is in the back of your cupboards, if you've got one. Okay, other things, kind of normal things that you expect to see in a video editor, things like video transitions. So you can see here I've got a plus button between the two scenes, so I can click there, add a transition. And in there I can choose, maybe I want this to dissolve, yeah, or maybe I want it to wipe across. Yeah, wipe is very sci-fi, isn't it? Very Star Wars, love that, especially diagonal wipes. And you see there now when I get to the end of my first scene,
Planet Earth.
There we go.
The length of
You get that nice wipe across. Maybe some of you were wondering about layers. If some of you have used a lot of video editing software before, then maybe you're familiar with layers. So and you're wondering where are my layers, because I can only see one thing in my timeline. If you click on show layer timing, it actually starts showing you the layers that you've got in there. Okay, there we go. You see the layer there for the planet Earth text. So if you want to keep things simple, you just leave that switched off. If you've got kids that want things to be more granular control, things like I want planet Earth to arrive later, then you can actually show your layer timing. And now that text isn't going to appear. Hello, my name is Meredith Jones, and welcome to this video on Planet. Okay, but again, if you'd rather keep things simple, then just keep it simple. Pam is saying 2 minutes. Is that the 2 minutes till the end of the session? Or because I thought it was 5:15. So if it is 2, then I'm really sorry.
I think that's keep going if everybody's happy to keep going.
Okay.
I'm sure you've got bits and pieces that you want to finish showing us there, so that's
Yeah,
fab.
brilliant. Okay. Yeah.
If you are.
I'll blast through it even faster than I've been going already, Pam. There we go. So there's our video project, and you know, you could add scenes, and you know, you've seen the tool set there and how easy it is to use. And of course, you know, the great power here is the kids can go home and carry on with their project that they've been working on in school. Sharing is something that I haven't mentioned at all. We've actually got we will host this video for you if you want. So if you just click on view only link, that'll publish the video to the internet, and you get a link. Anybody who clicks on the link is taken to your video and they can watch your video. Or you can click on the download button and download that as an MP4 file. We've also got, under the share button, handing into Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams built in. So if you set this as an assignment in Teams or Classroom, your learners can hand it in directly from Express. Okay, what else do I want to talk to you about? Let's keep it brief. Right, building a web page, I'll keep to the end because I do want to talk about drawing because we got some art and design folks on. So drawing is amazing on Express. I love it. I absolutely love it. So let's stick with my space theme here. Okay, the power about drawing in Express is the brushes. These brushes come over from Fresco, which is the professional illustration app. Okay, and that is the brushes that makes it. So let's just draw an amazing space scene using kind of, you know, really basic drawing skills. So I got my hard round brush, black paint, and the biggest brush I can get because I just want to obliterate my canvas. Now I could have just picked a black background up here, but you know, why kill the joy of painting a canvas black, right? Okay, so I want this to look like kind of the gas clouds in space. So let's go into the brushes and jump over to the art supplies, and I'm going to use the watercolor brush. Love this watercolor brush. And let's grab some of this purple paint here. And again, I'm going to take my brush size, yeah, maybe about 3/4 of the way. And I'm just going to kind of, wow, look at that. There we go. I'm going to paint some gas clouds. Those amazing colors that we see in space, something like that. Now, I think I've probably gone a bit too far with that because I do get a bit excited when I'm doing this. So to tame it back down, I can go to my watercolor fill brush, change the ink color to black, the paint color to black. And now you see I can just kind of start painting back over those with the watercolor fill brush and just start toning some bits down, leaving some bits untouched, and it starts giving us the kind of concept of the depth of space. Lush, love that. Right, let's get some kind of far off twinkling distant stars. So I'm going to grab the chalk brush, which is here, and I'm going to grab this pale blue. Again, my size is going to be huge, and I'm just going to click once. Click, there we go. And then again down here, click, and maybe one more time. There we go. And then I'm going to go back to my my watercolor fill brush, black paint. And again, I'm just going to start painting back over those. Just tame those stars down a little bit. There we go. There we go. There we go. Other stars. Maybe we could scroll down. We've got these firecrackers. These are cool. Yeah, these are cool. So maybe I'll just make that really small and click around the place. That's so small you can't see it. Ooh, that's too big. Let's undo that. Let's find a halfway house. Come on. There we go. Something like that. Love that. Yeah. Cool. Brilliant. Right. There's my background. So what about, let's make the sun. So let's go back to my basic brush, hard round brush. And I'm going to go as big as I can, and I'm going to grab the yellow paint, and I'm just going to click there. Cool. Right. Next, I want to see kind of the solar flares jumping off the sun's surface. So I'm going to go back to that watercolor brush in the art supplies. Let's find that. Watercolor, 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 watercolor. There we go. And I'm going to grab this orange paint, and I'm just going to give this a swoosh around here and see what happens. Oh, there we go. Well, what happens is it looks great. Right, there we go. There's my sun. And now let's get a little kind of Mercury, a little dwarf planet kind of thing going down here. So I'm going to change my paint to red. And I'm going to go back to my basic round brush. And I'm going to bring the size right down. And I'm going to click, well, maybe not that small. I'm going to click over here. There we go. And I want this to have some kind of glow, not the solar flares. I want it to look as if it's glowing. So to do that, I'm going to choose the soft round brush, and I'm going to keep that red color, but I'm going to take the size all the way up to the max, and I'm just going to click once in the middle of this planet. Cool. And it's giving me that really cool glow on there. Now, what can I do with this? You could download this as it is, okay, as a PNG, or if I just, it was saving it all the way, so I don't need to rename it. Well, I'll tell you what, I won't bother renaming it. Let's jump back into our video project. Jump back into our video project. All of your projects are in your stuff here, so all of your learners, or everything they make is going to be here for them. So I'm just going to open up my video project. And I could add a scene, and from your stuff, let's just bring in that last drawing that I made, set it as a page background. You could even animate this. Okay, so you can bring in your own drawings as elements into let's show the planet, there we go, into anything else you make within Express. Right, so that's drawing, which I love. Finally then, my last one is web page, okay? If you've got your learners and they've maybe produced a piece of written work like this, and, it's quite hard to get learners to write, like 200 words on something like that. So it's really nice to display it in a more professional, engaging way. So, it's really easy to do in Express as well. So it isn't as time consuming as, making an infographic or a video. This is how quick you can make a web page. So click on the build a web page button there, and let's create one from scratch to show you how easy it is to start from nothing. Right, so I've just got this. Here's my title, copy, paste that over. And here's the student that made it. It's well worth spending a little bit of time, this little extra bit of time with your learners, just to do this with a piece of their written work. And they'll take much more ownership of that written work then. Right, electricity. So let's search. So this is the same stock image. So I've got over 3,000 results for electricity. So I should be able to find something that I don't mind. Okay, so this is creating a web page that's responsive. So it's going to look just as good on a browser as it does on a phone, and vice versa. These are ideal if you want to make kind of newsletters and that kind of thing as well, if you want to share information with parents. Right, so if this is a website and I wanted to read more, what would I do? Well, I would scroll down, and that's exactly how you add more stuff to this web page, is by just scrolling down. So let's add a split layout. Here we go. So on a split layout, you can put an image on the left and then some text on the right. So let's grab my first bit of text, which is this: what is electricity? Copy. Now, you remember all that kind of font editing options that we had when we were making an infographic. You've got none of that in Express, in web page. That's what's great about it. Creating a web page is quick because you can't fuss around with fonts. That's all I can do with this title, is set it as nothing, as it is now, just body text, or a header 1, which is massive, header 2, bit smaller, or a quotation. Okay. I can put a photo on the left. Here we go. So I'll just choose another one. You'll notice maybe that the image quality isn't great. It's because it uploads a really basic version first, lets you carry on with your work. And in the background, there we go, it uploads the high quality version, and then it kind of refreshes it once it's uploaded. You do have themes, okay? So you've just got access to these basic themes, and they will change your fonts and kind of certain things about layouts, etc. But it's that easy to just take a piece of written work, add in another split layout, and now it's swapped it around the other way. I'll just do one more section because I don't think I need to do this 4 times. You get it, guys, don't you? And then I'll click on the plus there to add my text. Click there, text. Okay. And then what did I set that as a quote? And then add your image. Again, you could search for something else in here. On this side, you can even bring in something from your stuff. So again, I could bring in a drawing that I've made, or if I've got an infographic on electricity, I could bring that in. So, you know, this is all my kind of stuff that I've got here. You bring in videos that you've made. So if they've made explainer videos on electricity, they could pop that in here as well. So again, at the beginning of the session, I was mentioning digital portfolios. This is a great way of tying together either one student's whole unit of work, or you can use it to collect all of your classes' work together. Again, sharing your web page, it's just a matter of clicking share, and that'll give you a URL that anybody who clicks on it takes you to a published website. Right, guys, I'm done. I know we're coming to the end of the session. So, got to leave. Can't wait to try with the S2. Brilliant. Yeah, go for it, guys. Don't hang back. Just get on it and try it with your learners. On that Express Links page, we've also got the teacher training session. So we run ACE Level 1 and Level 2 training. You can see all the dates.